Hello friends, welcome to this video on lines and angles. Today, we will discuss basic terms and definitions of lines and angles. We are surrounded by a wide variety of objects, and the formation of any object or any shape is not possible without the knowledge of lines and angles. Let's start this session with lines. As we know, lines look somewhat like this. We represent it by AB, PQ, MN, and sometimes by small letters L, M and N also. Lines are always straight. We can say that it has no width. This sign of an arrow reflects that it can be extended infinitely in both directions. Let's take these two lines, AB and MN. In how many ways do you think we can draw them? Friends, we can draw them in two different ways. First is that both of them intersect each other, somewhat like this. Here, point C is their point of intersection. That is why they're called intersecting lines. And second, that which do not intersect each other. That is, they are parallel to each other. The length of the common perpendicular on the different points of these two parallel lines will be the same. Friends, if three or more points are situated on the same line, somewhat like this, then they're called collinear points. If they are not on the same line, they are called non-collinear points. Now friends, what will happen if we represent one end of a line by a point? Now, we will not call it a line but a ray. We call the light coming from the sun a ray because the source of origin of light is fixed. If we represent both the ends by points, then it will look somewhat like this. And now, this is a line segment. Till now, we discussed lines. Moving ahead, let's discuss angles. If two rays arise from the same endpoint, then an angle is formed. We call this common endpoint as the vertex of an angle, and the rays forming this angle are sides or arms. Friends, in the previous classes we studied about different types of angles. Let's repeat it once. If the measure of an angle is between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, then we call it an acute angle. If the measure of an angle is exactly 90 degrees, then we call it a right angle. If the measure of an angle is more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees, then we call it an obtuse angle. And if the measure of any angle is exactly 180 degrees, then we call it a straight angle. If the measure of any angle is more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees, then we call it a reflex angle. Friends, if the sum of any two angles is 90 degrees, then we call them complementary angles. And if the sum of any two angles is 180 degrees, then we call it supplementary angles. Let's move ahead. Friends, if two angles have a common vertex, a common arm, and their non-common arms are on different sides of the common arm, then we call such angles as adjacent angles. As you can see, in the figure, the vertex Q of both the angles is the same for angle PQS and angle SQR, and the arm QS is the common arm. And both these sides, PQ and QR, are in the opposite direction of the arm QS. That is why we can say that angle PQS and angle SQR are adjacent angles. Friends, by looking at the figure, Can you tell any relationship between the angle PQS, angle SQR and angle PQR? Note, here angle PQR is formed by joining the angle PQS and angle SQR. That is, the sum of these two angles will be equal to this, and we can write it like this. Friends, look at the figure and tell if angle MNP and angle PNO are adjacent angles. Yes, the common vertex of both the angles is the point N, and the common arm is NP. Here, the sum of these two angles is 180 degrees. In this way, a linear pair of angles is formed. If two lines intersect each other, then the vertically opposite angles are formed. Like here, the line MN is intersecting the line PQ at the point O. Here, we get two pairs of vertically opposite angles. The first pair is angle MOP and angle NOQ. Can you tell the name of the second pair? Yes, angle MOQ and angle PON is the pair of the vertically opposite angles. Friends, that's all in this session. Today, we discussed some basic terms and definitions of lines and angles. See you in the next video. Thank you.